All right, so here we are.
We
Me
are
with
here.
my clean face, because I jacked up my little beard trying to line shit up.
Oh
Figured,
Lord.
that happens. I mean, I have a significant amount of Native American ancestry, which is
Hmm.
why it's hard for me to really grow facial hair as it is. Like, the most I'll do is get a little bit of a beard. That's pretty much it. You know
Got
what
you.
I'm saying?
I got you. Good
So,
evening, everyone.
yes, good evening, ladies, and I guess we could say gentlemen, if you use the word loosely.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So we'll start with that. I'm just
Hello, Sharon.
oh, somebody said hello?
Yes, Sharon in the group.
Hello, what's up? What's up? How the hell did you see it? You normally don't see the comments.
Because I have my phone out this time.
Oh, look at that. Ain't you being a smart cookie?
You know how I do sometimes.
Hey, listen. It's nice to know that sometimes there's a little light burning upstairs. You know what I'm saying?
You trying to be funny. You trying to be funny. Y'all see how he just do? Y'all see the shade he just threw my way?
Pardon me, y'all. I don't know. I feel like an allergy that I never had before is trying to surface. Random cough. No worries, no COVID or fevers or anything. Healthy as a horse. But had to state that because I might be clearing my throat a few times while we're doing this. Annoyingly so.
Well, you know I'm down here in Florida, and allergy season is every day, every season of the year. Which most of the time is summertime here. We don't have winters at all, so it's always constant allergy season here in Florida. So yeah, so we both might be clearing our throats quite a bit tonight.
Yeah, it might be a little bit of throat clearing action going on, but we're going to get through this. My petty button wasn't activated though. I ain't activated yet. You know, it's still early though, so don't tempt me.
So let's get back on this
Yes.
marriage mindset. We wanted to go more in depth with some things. What did we discuss? What did we say we're going to really get to the root of tonight?
Well, tonight, see, damn throat. Excuse me. Tonight, we were set to discuss basically the intricacies of not just what entails having a strong and sturdy marriage,
Hmm.
like some of the intricate details, you know, like some of the honest things. Like, I'll give you one of the most basic ones to start with. Like when you talk about fucking your man or your woman
Hmm.
and learning how to properly learn your partner so that you know exactly how to stimulate them, what they like, what they don't like, things like that. Because a lot of times those things get missed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And these are things I've mentioned to you. I know it's annoying. These are things I've mentioned to you so
Yeah.
many times. Like, it blows my mind. Like, so many times people come with these flowers in their brain and they want to get married and it's all cute,
Hmm.
but they don't even know what it takes to sustain a relationship on the path of marriage, let alone actually sustaining a marriage. A lot of people have this fairy tale in their mind where they think they're going to put that ring on their finger and magically the holy gates are going to open and everything's just going to come together because that's how life works.
You know what though? I think I've even discussed this with you before. I don't think marriage is meant for everybody. I just don't.
Agreed.
I think that people think that they have that marriage mindset and they don't, you know. And they have an idea of what they want, like you just said, you know. But when it really comes down to um, the responsibility of marriage and what another person wants. You know,
Right.
it's all about the me, me, me. You know, I want this, I want that. Okay, but what about the other person? Have you discussed, certain things that you desire? Are
Right.
you willing to basically sacrifice certain things to make sure that you are pleasing your partner, or doing whatever the partner wants? And it all boils down to communication. I really don't think people communicate enough. I just don't. I think that we get caught up in the butterflies and the happy go lucky stuff and the happy times, but you're thinking about the feeling that you have for this person, but not the actual reality of being with this person for a long
Well,
time.
well, let me say this. You know what I notice? I notice a lot of times people try to skip to the end without going through the necessary steps. It's like trying to build a house without putting the beams in first, and you just throwing up drywall on a mat on a up against brick or stone, and you don't put those beams in first to hold the structure of the house together.
Yes.
So all you got is a little foundation, because most people are at least smart enough to have a foundation, but then they have no internal structure, and then they have the house, and they wonder why as soon as they put the roof on, the whole shit falls down the moment anything hits it. Because a marriage is only as good as the structure that you place within it during the building process. That's why the courting process, getting to know each other, paying attention to each other. Oh, and here's another thing, Sabrina. A lot of times, motherfuckers don't listen. Like, they hear you talking, but they not listening.
Right.
And that creates a problem. Because you know what? I know what frustrates me. If I feel like you're not listening, I just stop talking. And then I always tell people when it comes to me, and I know a lot of men are like this, don't worry about when we bitching and complaining and whatever else. Be scared when we're quiet, because that's when the real work is happening. That's when anything toxic that could creep in can possibly creep in. It's during that silence.
Right.
And I'm the kind of person, and a lot of times I know I operate a little differently, but I'm the kind of person, everything turns off for me once I feel like that communication is lost, or I feel like I'm being ignored. And I just think that that's something, a lot of times men's feelings and their expressions of things in general. Now, Sabrina, I know what you're going to say. I'm not like that, because you're
No,
always
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything.
I'm just saying because you're the queen of outliers. So I'm just going to stop you before you even start that shit. I'm just going to let you know. The real shit of it is that men's feelings and what it takes to get them to that happy place are often ignored.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they talk about happy wife, happy life. You need that man to be happy, or he ain't going to be productive.
Right.
You going to see he putting his energy somewhere else and not into you. Because if you don't give a fuck, he ain't going to give a fuck. Now, granted, there's the simp ass dude, and this is the shit that pisses me off, Sabrina.
What's that?
These simping ass dudes. Because they are ruining the game for the real men that's out here.
Okay, so when you say they simp, Give me an example of what you're talking about so I can have
Meaning
something.
their woman can walk all up over top of them,
Mm-hmm.
and they will still come running, oh baby. Even when the woman is clearly wrong, they will still be coming with the oh baby and acting like they the one that should be kowtowing and stepping and fetching. And the thing is, those don't create teachable lessons. I'm an avid believer in teachable lessons, and I don't mind a slow burn if it leads to a lesson that'll be teachable.
Now, as far as lessons go, are you trying? Are you making sure that you're not trying to control her? Or are you making sure that you are
There's no
really
controlling. This is
trying to
communication. I'm not saying when I say jump, you say how high.
okay.
Now, granted, there are relationships that function a little bit more like that. Those are a little bit more alternative, but
Okay.
we're not getting into that just yet. We're talking about a traditional marriage setup. And traditional marriage setup, that's pretty much how it goes.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
I got you. Now that's one thing that let's go back to when you did that, men differently. And I had to learn most times men, when you guys tell us something, it's something like you have you guys don't beat around the bush with certain things. It's when you tell us something straightforward. It's no revisit this at another time kind of shit. You guys are like, I want you to get this, I want you to get this right now. That's basically how you guys communicate. Which I know a lot of people think, okay, well, that's unrealistic. You might have to
Hold on, keep talking. I'm listening. Keep talking.
but with us women, our mind is on so many different things. We're not understanding when he is telling us something that he's like telling us something at one time. You know, we'll have to read. Like we that one time, even if he's saying it very calmly, it doesn't have to take him to scream at you. You should understand something. When a man talks, that's exactly what he is. He's coming from a deep part of him because most men aren't communicators. When that person that's communicating, when they're
Hold
talking,
on.
go ahead and
The
listen to
sound is cutting out badly. If I'm hearing it sound like that, I'm pretty sure other people might not be hearing you too well either.
So, what part did you? Okay, I might need to repeat myself. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you clearly now.
Okay, good. So, what I was saying is, in my experience, I've learned that most men aren't good communicators. But when you have a man that is a good communicator, it's best to go ahead and listen to him that one time he says something because I've learned that when men open up to you, he trusts you. But that's with me too. That's with everybody. And I'm talking about the men right now. Men don't open up to everybody. When a man opens up to a woman, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. So when you have somebody that's opening up to you and just telling you what they want, what they think, or whatever, it's best to listen to them. Because I don't know if anybody else knows. I mean, I don't know. Tell me how you feel when you are talking to somebody and it's like they're not getting it. Do you feel respected?
It depends. If it seems like you have the aptitude to get it and you're just not trying to get it because you're stuck in doing things the way you want to do them, then I'm looking at you like you saying, fuck me. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But if you just seem like you just can't get it because your brain can't get around it for whatever the reason may be, then I'm looking at it like, really what's going on? Right. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it makes me ask questions like, yo, why is this so difficult for you to take in? Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm making this real easy for you to understand. And for some reason, it's just not sinking in. And nothing's more frustrating than when you take your time out to break something down. And then a person will go right behind whatever it is that you said, whatever it is that you did, or whatever it is that you told them, and go and operate in opposite of that. Because that's basically like doing this. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
At least in
That's
my
how. That's
interpretation.
how. I think anything that you communicate or express to somebody, you want them to go ahead and get it. You know, I mean, that's how I communicate. I hate repeating myself too. I mean, it's nothing. I'm a Libra. Libras are not good at repeating themselves. We get frustrated easily. I mean, I swear to God. You know, so I mean, yeah, we want to say it one time and snap. It's taken care of. So I know that's how I am anyway.
That's a fact. But
So
see, that's the whole thing, is that you can't just expect somebody to just, like, I get it. I'm not expecting, like, if I tell somebody something and I say, hey, this is how I feel, I don't expect you maybe to just turn on a dime. But what I do expect, for example, I give you a practical example. If somebody tells me, yo, go easy on the cursing, man, you know, da-da-da-da, I'm going to still slip out a few F words here and there, whatever. But at least if I'm making a conscious effort to try and curb that behavior because I don't want to offend that person, then that's appreciated because that shows you're at least trying. The problem is a lot of times people are lazy, which is we're gonna roll into something else.
That's why I say a lot of people ain't ready. I know I'm not. I ain't ready, y'all.
Let me keep it a stack. What I'm talking about really could go whether it be for men or women. I'm speaking from the male perspective because I'm a man.
Right.
But this can go either way because either person can be on either side of that situation and be equally as frustrated. The only difference is when it comes to women, women's feelings are more respected and observed than men's feelings are typically.
Now, why do you think that is? And I'm gonna tell you why you think that is.
Only because women are more expected. It's a chauvinistic thing where they look at women as being more emotional creatures and they're basically big boohoo babies. So we expect to hear a bunch of bitching and moaning from them. And honestly, us experts at the bitch and moan brigade know how to turn on our no bitch and moan radio when somebody's rattling off to us for too long. And basically, we're just there in spirit, but we're not really physically listening to whatever the hell they're talking about.
Okay. Now I can agree with that to a certain extent. I'm going a little bit deeper. Women are expected to be emotional, you know, creatures or whatever. You know, but I honestly think because women are nurturers, we're natural nurturers. So I mean, we're supposed to be carrying babies and all this, whatever you say. We want to take care of things. I think it's a side of everybody, of both genders, that wants to take care of things, but in a different way, if that makes sense. You know, so with women, the way I feel as far as the reason why we are emotional, definitely, it's like you said, like I just said, you know, we're expected to be that way, but we're taught to be soft. We're supposed to be soft. We're supposed to be, you know, more of the caregivers and all of that or whatever. But on the other side of the spectrum, of course, we've gone through certain things in life, you know, and we've had to hold in so much. By the time we knew we were not, that we really truly trust and open up to, that emotional side is going to come out because we're expecting you to kind of lighten that load. You guys know our friend, a man, whoever. We're expecting him to kind of lighten that load a little bit. But what we don't understand, what we're doing, what we're asking you guys to lighten that load, is we're putting more on you too. So it's basically we're putting things on each other that we don't know that we're doing. That's why we don't communicate. That's why I say we need to communicate better with one another.
Well, communication.
Feelings are going to be put into this whole equation, this whole scenario, this whole situation. And how else are you going to be able to communicate with each other if you don't express yourself?
Well, the thing is communication has to be a two-way street. Communication, excuse me, damn throat. Communication is not just about talking either. Communication is about listening. It's about, if you're in a relationship, and damn it, I see people say they want relationships and all this other stuff. Then when they have them, they don't really do much of what it takes to sustain them. Just being there is not enough.
Right.
You have to have quality time together. You have to indulge each other's interests. And that's not just sexually. I'm going to get into the sexual shit in a minute, because that's definitely coming up. Because I've sat and counseled enough people where I will tell you, one of the biggest things that starts to break down the walls of communication is the sexual part. But even before you get there, you have to indulge each other's interests, be it TV shows, other activities. Even if it's something you don't particularly like, if it's something they really like, do it with them. Just to engage in that with them, enjoy that moment with them, so that you can understand more about that person.
I understand. I totally get that. That's me. Whatever, I'm not gonna say all of it, but something that sparks my interest in somebody that I'm actually, with, I'm going to get involved in it because I want to be a part of that world with him if he'll allow me. And if he doesn't allow me, then I'm like, why are we together? If you don't allow me to get involved with whatever you're involved with.
Right.
But I find that people don't take a lot of people don't take the time to want to do that either. They don't want to take the time to want to engage in. I don't say a lot of people. Some. There are those that do not do that. Do you think that there is a problem with the relationship, or is that person not really? Do you think that? To me, I'm going to rephrase. My opinion, if someone does not want to get involved with certain things that I'm involved in, or even want to ask questions, or say if I own a salon. I know men don't like salons, but however, men come in to get their hair done. But if I'm with somebody not on the salon, I'm gonna want them to come in and see what's going on and get involved with certain things. Whatever with my salon, I'm gonna want him to be as excited about it as I am. And if he's not, I'm like, why are you here? This is my whole life. This is my income, is my money. It's the way I make money for us, not just me.
Right.
So why aren't you excited about it? So that's how I would feel like this person is really not that into me if they don't get excited about certain things in my life. How do you feel about that?
Well, the thing is that in that case, I kind of look at it like you should be supporting each other's ventures too.
Right, exactly.
Because the thing is that there is no predetermined way to be successful. 20 people could do the same thing and have 20 different results from it. And maybe only one out of those 20 might actually be true success. So even if a person's doing something and you think it's going to be a failure, if they're, like I said, this is about indulging each other's passions. Remember I said that?
Yes.
You have to indulge each other's passions in everything that y'all do. It can't just be a one-way street.
Right.
Like, even if you're two people that come from two different worlds, and you want to come together and have a relationship, if only one person is changing their modus operandi, that shit is going to fail.
Yep.
I know you smile because of fucking law words, but but if only one person is changing the way that they operate, it's not fair. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
There has to be coming together on both sides. A lot of times that doesn't happen. One person makes the one person pretty much just gets with whatever's going on and says, hey, okay, I'll do whatever. It's cool. And everybody else just kind of, well, not everybody else, but the other person just floats along and says, "Ooh, I'm happy. They're doing everything I want." But all you're doing is wasting the person who's getting all that they want. You're also wasting your time.
Yes.
Because what's going to happen is they're going to run out of compromise energy.
Yep.
Because compromises need to be fed, meaning they need to see you feeding their compromises in order for them to keep feeding yours. Because no matter how strong, this goes beyond love and beyond all that stuff. Because human beings are a lot more dynamic than given credit for in some cases. And especially men. Men are often looked at as simple creatures. In a lot of ways we are. But there are a lot of deeper complexities that exist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And those don't get hit or appreciated enough. And that is where you run into a problem.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Often I look at a person, I watch a couple of people in a relationship, and I said, like, I talked to both of them, and I literally put a mental bet on for myself. I wouldn't bet on nobody else because they ain't cool. But I said to myself, I said, I bet you this relationship lasts a year and a half.
Oh, wait. Let's go back.
I'm not going to air out everything because that's not what I do. But what I will say is just looking at the lack of effort equally on both sides. Like one side, that person was really dedicated going in, you know, making this marriage thing happen or whatever else. The other person was just there as their partner. It may be
just
did a thing there.
No.
Like I'm gonna give you. We gonna get into the nitty gritty, okay? Now, and ladies and gents, both of y'all can listen to this equally. When it comes to the sexual energy that you come into a relationship with, be honest.
Yes.
With yourself and your limitations. And I'm going to tell you this. This is a free game move right here. Even if you really have an attraction, if you don't have an aptitude to modify yourself to your partner's sexual appetites, and nobody's saying, oh, if he likes threesomes, then I got to be rolled around with another girl, or if she likes two guys, I got to have a next dude. No, nobody's saying all of that. Sabrina, shut up. Jesus. Again, outlier. We're not talking about you. You know what I'm saying?
You got to come with it.
No, but the point is, you really do got to come with it. You got to be coming with that thunder. Like, you got to know what your part. And the thing is, it's really easy to just shut the fuck up, stop thinking, and start listening. Because I will tell you the number one thing I've heard, I've talked to my friends, I've talked to other guys, and I'm sitting in counseling with them, whatever the case. You know, one thing drives us men crazy is women overthink a lot. It sounds like a sexist trait. Well, guess what? It's kind of true.
That's true.
Women are much more of a thinker when it comes to everything than us men. Us men, we're like a blunt instrument, while a woman's more like a scalpel. You know what I'm saying? They're calculating every little move. And sometimes we just want you to shut up and put a mouthful. We don't want you. No. We don't want all of this. Because now it can take us out of our flow. Yeah. Because men are carnal creatures. We like the physical act of that intimacy. And I know a lot of women do too. But the thing is, you can't be like, if you see you're throwing your man off, maybe you want to pay attention to what he's into. And if you're not sure, ask him. And then when he tells you, fucking listen. Men, the same thing. When she tells you what she likes, and she tells you stay right there, whatever it is that she's telling you, fucking listen. Because so many times they don't listen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I can't express it enough. I've been with guys that say that they let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Look.
Don't make me
Look,
do it.
look.
Please don't make me do it.
Stop lying on y'all. Stop lying on your dick.
You
Don't
know
do
I'm
that to me.
right?
I'm just saying. No, for real. I mean, I can't.
Like, listen, bro.
I can't. Oh.
Hold up. Don't be lying and then end up screaming and crying and going to sleep curled up in a ball. Like, you can't let yourself, if that's your thing, be honest. And fellas, I hear this way too often. From the fellas, I hear this shit way too often with these dudes and these baggy magnums. It's one size fits most. But if it ain't your size, all you doing is humping some like, I don't even understand how that's fun.
Look here.
I just don't. I
I may
can't.
as well have a girl if y'all gonna lie to me. Okay? I'm just saying, don't come at me if you look. You know when you got it and when you don't. Let's just be for real.
Yeah.
I know when a man got it and when he don't. Just don't come my way with that. Okay? A little pacifier. Little ring pop. I'm just saying.
Oh God, not the ring pop thing. Oh my God. But the thing is, I'm not even going to get into the whole size thing because there's different sizes, different people have different situations. My thing is that aside, my point is all jokes aside, you have to be honest about whatever your limitations are. This isn't, we're laughing about it. It's kind of funny and all of that. But at the end of the day, you have to really be honest about your limitations and accept them and operate within them.
Yes.
Like, don't lie to yourself because honestly, you're not fooling nobody but yourself.
Right.
Nobody else is.
I mean, I know you different than me. You probably have way more experience in certain things than me. I don't know. However, I probably lived a little bit more of a kind of the beige version, not the vanilla version of sex. I don't want vanilla sex ever again. No. But I mean, yes, I know that I can't do all the whips and chains and all the bondage and BDSM and all that. I can't do all of it, but I don't mind the flat, the floggers. I love the floggers. So I have one. But I mean, when you just know people, your partner has to be, both of you have to really be sexually stimulated. And being at a certain level or letting your partner take you to that certain level is nothing like it. It is nothing like that. And of course, like you said, like he just said, you got to know your sexual limitations in what you will allow yourself to get into. If you know a person is into certain things like that, for you. That just is not. You cannot satisfy your partner when you know that you are not going to be with certain things that they are into. Like a man can come to me right now and say that he wants certain things, and if I'm not with it, I'm just look, hey partner, I'm not the one for you. You need to go on over there to her or him, whomever.
Right.
I mean, so they might be fine as fine. got all the money, whatever you desire. They might
Mm-hmm.
just do everything, but when it comes down to that sex, and you know that you're gonna be having sex with this person possibly the rest of your life, why are you gonna pretend like you can do certain things when they actually do it and you disappoint them sexually? That's not
Right.
cool. That's not cool, man. Y'all out here not pleasing y'all partners. Trust me, I've been that part.
You know what ends up happening, and I mean, and listen, we're not we're not saying that a relationship is going to be one big porno because it isn't, especially a long-term relationship. You got a lot of real shit to deal with. You got bills and responsibilities and whatever. You're going to have different challenges and hardships that are going to come up that are going to maybe in some cases even create a little bit of trouble or stress within your relationships. There's going to be all types of trials and tribulations. It's not about the trials and tribulations. Those do not judge whether your relationship is capable of going the distance or not.
Right.
The thing that determines whether your relationship is capable of going the distance or not is how y'all handle it.
Exactly.
And I'm going to tell you this. A major key is you need to learn to resolve whatever issues you have. Just because you stop talking about it doesn't mean that it's resolved. It's not resolved until both people say, okay, we've come to this understanding and we get it. And the words, and this is where words are very powerful. These words have to be said.
Yes, they do.
Because a lot of times these words are not said.
Mm-hmm.
And while one person thinks, oh, well, we stopped talking about it, so I guess we're done with it, cool.
No.
The other person is sitting there and harboring that shit. And that shit is festering. And what's going to end up happening is they're going to let that shit fester. And meanwhile, all the temptations, because the thing is, temptation don't stop.
Right.
And the thing that keeps you honest is when you're thinking about your partner and the fact that you care about them and you don't want to hurt them. So you don't do no bullshit that's going to endanger their health or hurt their feelings.
Right.
But when you feel like nobody gives a fuck, you stop giving a fuck, and that's when shit gets toxic.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And like with me, I'm an avid believer of you should get in front of it so you don't have to react when it happens. You can deal with this one time and be done with it. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't operate that way, which is why they continue to struggle to this day.
Yeah.
With every relationship that they have.
Yes.
Because, you know, if all you're going to do is do what you feel like doing, you're not going to have any success like that. Like, I'm sorry. I know everybody wants to do stuff. And another thing, I will say this because I want to get to the other thing too, which is in relationships, you can't get lazy. A lot of times, us as people, male and female, we get lazy. Instead of making it nasty, doing the damn sizzle, and keeping it hot and spicy, after a while, you just sit back and looking like, oh, what? I'm here. Look. Aren't you excited? Let me tell you something. You ever, when you put on cologne or perfume, ladies, when you put on that perfume, you smell it for like that first hour. Maybe.
Right.
And then after a while, even though everybody else can smell it, you don't smell it no more. Because and keep in mind, it smells amazing. It is the most fucking delicious perfume ever. The reason why I use that as a point of reference is no matter how fine you think you are, ladies and gents, a person can get used to anything.
Yes.
So, and it's not anything against you. Oh, they don't love you no more. Oh, they're not into you. No, it's not that. It's just, it's like working out. You can't do the same routine all the time. You got to switch it up in order to keep shocking your system so that it could give you that reaction. Your sexual organs are muscles. If all you're doing is the same thing, it'll work for a while. But if you don't switch it up a little bit, it's not going to be quite as effective. Like in men, a lot of times what happens is you'll notice their erection isn't as intense as it used to be. It isn't necessarily the fact that they're getting older or whatever, because you'll see the new thing come out and you be harder than trigonometry or something new and exciting or something a little risque or something, and that man be hard as a brick. Same thing for the women. She might feel a little turned on or stimulated, right, Sabrina?
Yes.
But it won't be that thing, and they won't get really juiced up like that, because how many thousands of times have we done this same routine?
Yeah.
If you want to have a long-term relationship or marriage, I mean, if you really want it, because a lot of people say they want it, but they're not willing to put in the work. What do you think? Like,
I mean, I agree. I'm telling you, I totally agree with all that.
And I'm gonna say this.
Sexual appetites even kind of change.
Hold on, I'm gonna say something to trigger you, right? Because this shit gonna set you off. But I gotta say, typically in long-term relationships, it's the women that get the laziest and most complacent the fastest. Like, it's
okay,
just
go ahead. I'm gonna go with it.
It's just a lot of times I hear this from men, like, yo, she used to do this, that, and the third. Now it's just a little. How many times you heard men complain in marriage about they might get a blowjob on their birthdays and on whatever rare occasion? Meanwhile,
that woman.
Okay. Keep in mind, that's his wife. She got the ring. See, the magic didn't happen. She got the ring. They signed the papers, and he signed the paper to get a blowjob on Christmas and birthday. What? Do you know how many blowjobs, the amount of money you spend to get married, could have paid for?
Well, listen for a minute.
One more thing, and then I'm gonna shut because I know you got something to say. But you should be greeting that man with a blowjob as soon as he walks in the door. Especially you working hard, you doing what you gotta do, you caring for you looking out, protecting your woman, trying to make sure to the best of your ability that she's good. That should be without question. Same thing for the fellas. Mm-hmm. That woman come in, let her know she's beautiful, romance her, kiss on her body, engage, interact. Don't just, okay, I got it juicy. Okay, let's go. Okay, now, like, that shit sounds like a fucking death sentence to me, and that's why I've spent so many years of my life feeling like I would never get married, because I said I think I'd rather die alone than die for years and years slowly. Voluntarily is one thing. If you catch something, like, God forbid you get sick and it's a slow death, but Jesus, that's a slow death that you signed up for. Like, that's why the testosterone levels start to decrease in a man, because there's nothing happening to stimulate his manhood. Sabrina, why are y'all not stimulating the manhood?
Wait a minute now.
What's going on here?
Because sometimes I feel like I was born in a man.
Don't act like you was born yesterday. Don't act like you was born yesterday and you don't know good goddamn well that these women be out here slacking on their macking.
They do.
Meanwhile, there's
You know
five
why?
boys lined up, ready to polish that knob at a moment's notice. Half of them is in
Let
the
me tell you the why.
throwing it like a free throw.
Okay.
You gotta be kidding me out here.
Our women, the women get comfortable, but at the same time, we're stressed out too. Just like you said, so we're looking for you guys to show more emotion, show more love on us. Maybe not even that. I think some women they're just tired. They're tired after working all day, dealing with whatever she dealt with children. Y'all don't have children. No,
Hold on.
our minds are
Hold on.
amazing.
What is that sound in your background?
I don't know.
It sounds like a bed was squeaking around. Your neighbor having some nasty time or something?
No, she's not. Are you hearing it still?
No, it just seems like every time you start talking, sometimes, like especially when you say a certain amount of words together, it starts. I don't know what you're doing differently this time than when you're normally on here, but the sound quality is definitely suffering for it.
Are you serious? This whole time I've been talking and you can't hear me?
No, I can hear you. It's just not as clear as normal.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I have
When
not
you
done.
hear the playback, you're gonna see. You're gonna be like, "Holy shit!"
Oh God. Okay.
Like you sound good now, but when you start talking and saying the whole thing in a sentence, it's like the sound can't keep up with. You understand what I'm saying? It can't take in the amount of sound that you're giving it at once, is what it seems like.
Okay. But getting back to it, I'm gonna try to talk a little bit slower so that the words won't. Anyway, what I was saying is some women get tired. You know, things change. Our minds change. Maybe a man has hurt in the relationship. Some of us won't get his juice. If we've been disappointed quite a bit by the guy that we've chosen. She's dealing with some other issues with. Sometimes us women will hold in certain things from you guys too. After a while, we'll draw back because we don't want to argue. We don't want to cause an argument. We don't want to be drama queens. We'll hold on to certain things and be like, you know what, I'm gonna let that go, but I'm just gonna keep that in the back of my mind. And while it's just like you say, things fester, things we harbor. I mean, I'm a harborer. I will admit that for myself. You know,
Oh boy.
but even as strong as my sexual appetite is, I have those moments as well. It's not that I don't want to be with you. It's just that right now I'm just not so very sexually attracted to you right now, God. My dude, whatever, my God. You just going over there. I'm gonna get the vibrator. This vibrator time. I'm gonna get to the vibrator, not you. Not that I don't want him to have it. Just right now, I just need you out my face. So they get like that. Some women take a lot longer to get back to that. Me, I'm like, okay, I can be like that for about a week, but now it's my turn.
Well, you know,
with me. It might not even last. So.
You know what I suggest? I suggest that, I mean, again, this is me imposing my personal opinion or suggestion, but I think if you have a partner, you should get into body worship. I think you may know what that is, Sabrina. I know I have a lot of evolved things that I suggest sometimes. I won't get into all the tantric stuff and all of that because that's different. But I will say this. You need to get into body worship, meaning you need to take time and just touch every inch of their body slowly stimulate their different senses. And this is male and female. Ladies, I know they have a dick and they don't have titties and ass, but we do got dick and we got balls. This is an adult podcast, so
Yes.
we saying what we saying here. There's dicks and balls on us, okay? And
Dick and balls.
you gotta touch and interact with everything, but not just there. Touch their chest too. Kiss on them. Make that man feel sexy. Because believe it or not, it does matter. You know why statistically a lot of times a lot of women say he cheated with somebody that don't even look as good as me. But she know how to make his dick harder than you do.
Yeah.
How does that feel? Because I normally you don't hear that with men talking about women cheating with a guy look better than them. We don't focus on that. The whole act itself, regardless of what they look like, is what we focus on.
Yes.
But with women, at least if they look better than her, she'll be like, damn, that bitch bad though. But I'm still mad he cheated. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But for him to choose somebody, it's because she knew how to, she kept mentally stimulating him and tempting him and doing all that stuff. By the time she got to him, before she touched anything, that thing bounced out them fucking boxes like it had hydraulics on. And plain and simple, that was for no other reason than getting to this, because sexual stimulation is not just physical, it's also mental.
Yeah.
But you have to learn how to be sexy. And if you don't know how to be sexy, there are classes you can take to figure that out to a certain degree. I mean, it's kind of like teaching swag, but whatever. Or here's another idea you could try first, which is a lot cheaper. You could just sit with your partner and find out what they find sexy. And actually shut the fuck up and listen. Be you. Good night, Tracy. Be you, male or female. Because the problem is, if you don't take that time to learn what really works for them, again, your marriage is built on is like a house of cards. One good wind or one good blow, and that whole thing comes apart. And that could be taken literally or metaphorically. Because you can't just coast through a relationship and wait to grow old. A motherfucker be 50 years old, get up and go somewhere.
Right.
And there'll be other 50-year-old women or men that'll be happy to go and take that person's place.
Right.
But these are all things, again, that you have to, first you have to get rid of your pride and arrogance. A lot of people are way too prideful and arrogant.
Yes.
They think, oh, well, I got him. I got it like that. I got her. I got her like that. And yeah, they do to a certain degree. But one thing, and Sabrina, me and you was talking, and one thing you really made clear to me is that there's no such thing as unconditional love.
No.
Every love has its conditions.
Right.
But are these conditions? Some are conditions that are understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Some conditions are conditions where it's like, well, damn, if it's that, well, if it's like, if you only love me when it's all good,
Right.
then get the fuck up out my face.
Right. No one wants to be played with like that. That's ridiculous.
How many times have you went through that?
Ooh. We ain't gonna get in that. But
Oh,
yeah,
we gonna get into it.
way more times than I want to. Okay.
Tracy, first you have to be dating in order to get a man. Anybody can acquire a man if they want one. Any lady can acquire a man if she wants one. The thing is, you have to be looking at what is it that you actually want. And then you have to look at what actually fits into what you want. Look at the men that you have gotten and why you chose not to be with them. And was that really because of your own fuck shit? Or was it because they sucked? And if you kept picking men that's sucking, you got to start to think to yourself, what is it about me that keeps deciding to choose these men while the other men who are coming at me, I'm curving them and disregarding what they want?
Right.
Because I get tired of people saying that shit. I see women talking all the time about, oh, ain't got no man, oh, this and all that. And then these will be the same chicks that'll be sitting there in a bonnet and pajamas all the time, hardly ever making it sexy for their man. The man ends up cheating. They get mad. They leave. And then end up sitting there alone again talking about how they can't get a man or can't find a good man. But you got to understand, no matter how good your man is, if you don't feed that goodness with greatness, you will lose that man. And the same goes for the women.
Yes.
You have to feed the relationship. You can't just be in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You have to indulge each other's appetites. If you know your partner is nasty, you gotta open up to some new levels of nasty if you really love them. You ain't gotta do nothing that includes necessarily adding people to the bedroom. Because I understand a lot of times people are like, I ain't trying to do all that. But that's the first thing people think I'm talking about whenever I say that. Whether I'm talking male, female, they're always thinking, I ain't putting nobody else in the bed. Or I ain't putting nobody else in the bed. No, this ain't about that. This is about learning to find other ways to get nasty and kinky.
Yes.
In the bedroom. If you got a whole bunch of rules, regulations, and no's to somebody who's a pretty free spirit, you're gonna have a hard time holding on to them in a world where there's a whole lot of free spirits floating around this sumbitch. You gotta, that's why I said the first thing I said earlier. Know your limitations. If you know you just a straight between the legs, laid back, one little move, and that's all you doing, and that's the furthest you want to go, understand that's cool. Nothing wrong with that. But don't hook up with somebody that's trying to do acrobatic shit and all type of crazy shit because they're going to get tired of you saying no.
Right.
And they're going to go, and it's just human nature. If they hear a lot of no, it's going to start to discourage their spirit. How many times have you heard no, Sabrina? And it definitely made your eyes start to wander. And this is from a woman.
Don't even get me to thinking about that because see, that's the sensitive thing for me. You say no to me. Look here, you don't have some problems. I'm just being honest. Keep saying no to me. You don't
No, but it happens. Like they'll say no to this, no to that. Oh, I don't do this. Oh, I don't do that. It's like, but you want a relationship.
That word is oneness.
You know what? I'm gonna say something, and this part's gonna.
Hold on, wait a minute. No, I'm saying that no word.
I'm about to dig deep into the hole here because I was talking with my one of my friends earlier, and it was just something that he had mentioned. Even though I said I wasn't gonna say nothing about him, but I'm saying it anyway. We keep it between us, all right?
Okay.
So one thing, I know his ass probably sleep anyway. One thing.
We gonna watch this. At some
Listen, whatever. The thing is a lot of times, now me, I've spent time in alternative lifestyle as far as in a more hypersexual type of situation. Now, for those that have a dictionary and those that Google hypersexual's real meaning, it's pretty fucked up. But a lot of people, hypersexuality has become a popular terminology, especially in like the lifestyle community, so on and so forth. And in that term of hypersexuality, it is basically somebody or a body of people who are very, very sexual with tons of different kinks and things that stimulate them and turn them on from multiple different avenues.
Mm-hmm.
People that have a lot of different things that are stimulants for them because they're just very horny.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, with a hypersexual person of that terminology is that those avenues need to be touched and acknowledged. A lot of times that stuff isn't. Like one of my clients I had, Tracy, don't be calling out people names on the podcast. What's wrong with you? Jeez.
Tracy.
Fortunately, that's not who I was talking about, but just saying, I know who that is. Now, the whole thing is about this is that in this hypersexuality, a lot of times, for some reason, two hypersexual people very rarely get together. One person's normally pretty basic. The other person is more of the sexual deviant. And I've always advised this to women when they sit down with me. They talk about they want a relationship. They talk about wanting a monogamous relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, if you want to be monogamous, especially in a day and age where there's so much alternative lifestyle shit everywhere now with the internet, it's even more accessible than ever. You gotta be a nasty bitch to your man. Fellas, you gotta be a nasty motherfucker to your woman. But I'm especially going with the men on this because a lot of times women have an aptitude to be as nasty as they want to be. Sometimes. Some just don't have the imagination for it. But others, they know what they should be doing, but they are too lazy to put in the effort. I will tell you, much like anything in life, it's all physics. What you put in is what you get out.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are putting in meat and potatoes, don't be expecting extravagancy coming out. Because that man gonna look at you and be like, you give me meat and potatoes, I give you a steak and some mashed potatoes. That's about it. Other than that, what else you want from me?
Right.
A lot of times, and I know the lazy woman's greatest defense is, you can do all this and that, and he's still going to cheat. Perhaps. Perhaps not. Every man doesn't want to cheat. A lot of men will be happy to sit down and chill. A lot more men are getting like that too. Even men from I know men.
Can I comment on that comment?
Go ahead.
As far as women saying that, yes, it can be true. But honestly, I find, in my opinion, That's when a man is not, or someone. I ain't gonna even say just, but most of the time they say it about men. In my opinion, that's the man that has not been truthful with himself as far as being monogamous. He might not be so monogamous. Okay.
Monogamy.
Some people don't know, or some men just don't want to admit, hey, I'm poly as fuck.
No, but then there's the men. No, but then there's the men that are only poly when it comes to them.
Right.
Because, and that's really the majority of men. Mm-hmm. They good with it as long as they the only one fucking you. They can fuck everything they want. But you supposed to be the only one fucking them. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Meaning only person you can fuck is them. But they can fuck whoever they want to, which is a hypocrisy. And that, fellas, is not cool. You understand what I'm saying? The fellas got to cut that shit out because they do that shit a lot.
Yes. You know why? We've had that discussion. Running into guys that only want me to themselves and want to shit, but want me to share someone else with them. I'm like, no.
Like,
no, do this, we're gonna do
it. In the lifestyle community, there are so many single, but not really single ass dudes that be running around in that motherfucker, and they got a whole wife at home and kids and all that, and their wife is vanilla as shit, but they out here running around. It's not like they bringing their wife through and saying, hey, let's try something different. Let's spice it up. Or their wife doesn't even know that they're doing that. They just think they're just doing whatever. Now, me, I've always been a man of honor. If I'm going to run around in that kind of way, I would say something. If I'm going to be monogamous, then I'm going to really live it, and I'm going to sit back, and I'm going to walk the path of the monogamous man. Mm-hmm. It's a hard path to walk, but it's a walkable path. It has its advantages. But, like I said, the biggest problem that we've run into is people are not, like you said, people are not realistic. They think, oh, well, I look good, you look good, let's look good together. Wrong. Mm-hmm. Or, well, I'm happy, so the relationship is good. Wrong. None of that stuff works. In a relationship, because fuck marriage. Mm-hmm. Because honestly, marriage is nothing but a relationship with paperwork. The only thing that changes is now you have power of attorney over each other's things. And your credits it's a merging of finances and other transactions. Marriage is a transactional thing. As much as people want to make it about love, bullshit. You love each other whether you're married or not. Wake up.
That's my bad.
Some damn home. Well, then your ass should have came home earlier, god damn it. 'Cause I was home. I ate, watching TV, all that shit.
Shut up.
You know what I'm saying? We talking about the shit that we're discussing here can affect somebody's life. Like, all jokes aside, there's going to be a couple that watches this. Some couples will benefit because they'll have an argument, realize they're not for each other, and move on. Some couples will look and be like, oh shit, I never really thought about it like that, and work harder to make it work together.
Right.
That's another thing.
Sir.
Man, that is another thing. You have to think. This is when thinking is good. You have to have a mindset. You see how the title of this is Marriage Mindset?
Mhm.
It's because you have to have the mind for marriage before you get married. A lot of people say, well, I'm not doing this because I'm not married. Or, oh, yeah, well, I'm just not looking at it like that because I ain't got no ring. I ain't married yet. That's like putting the cart before the horse.
Right.
That's eating the cheese while it's still in a block instead of putting it in the pot to melt on the macaroni. That's like eating cold cheese and then throwing macaroni elbows in your mouth and saying that's how I'm eating my mac and cheese. That'll be the worst meal you'll ever have in your life.
You're right. I'm gonna comment on it.
Go
I
ahead
mean,
and comment on that,
some,
sleep.
some people don't understand, and I think I talked about this before, but I'm just repeat this.
Right.
But some people, when they think about
Hey,
marriage,
Soleil.
like you just said, they, I'm good, I'm ready. Okay, well, have you studied marriage?
Uh-huh.
Have you studied why marriage exists? When the first marriage ever, why they got married? You have to have the what, the
Hold
when, and
on.
the whys.
Hold on. See, I'm not crazy. So
What?
Envy just said it. Your
What?
feedback is awful.
I don't know what to do.
What are you doing differently with your phone this time?
Maybe the phone is like sitting right here in front of me. Maybe I can talk to the side.
What are you using?
I'm on my computer.
Don't you normally use your phone?
Yes.
That is the problem.
But I used the computer the last time and didn't have this problem.
Well, obviously you got lucky the last time, but this time that shit ain't good. Even I have 3 devices. I have the phone. Yeah, see, it sounds like you're underwater.
I'm sorry. What you want me to do? Hop off and hop back on my phone?
Yes.
Oh God. All right, I'll do that.
Please.
I'll do it.
Thank you. Thank you, Soul Envy. I wanted it to be said from somebody that was listening because nobody wants to be sitting there listening to the fucking waves washing over somebody's voice. That's why I use my phone, not the computer. Because what people don't understand is data streaming. When it comes to streaming, there's a lot of interference when you have data coming in from different wavelengths at the same time, and it'll create stuttering in your signal, which will make you sound like when you're talking on your computer. There's too many processes running on her computer at once, basically. What epiphany have you had, Soul Envy? What have you had an epiphany on? And if this is something that we need to have you up on here in the future so you can talk about it, that can be arranged. We have a couple of shows planned for the future. Actually, one of the next shows we're doing, I plan on bringing in my good friend. She's an insurance expert, and she's going to talk about generational wealth because we need to talk about building generational wealth in our community. I've been doing a lot of research on finance, the stock market, different ways of investing and all of that. I'm gonna pitch in my 2 cents. And it's gonna be a good show because one thing that is very important and one thing that gets missed, especially in our community, is we don't set ourselves up or our children up well enough.
Why is
There you go. What the hell is this?
where did you go?
I don't
I
understand
don't
why
know what
that.
just happened.
I don't either. Okay. Well, we're good now. You sound 1,000% better. Like Jesus. Holy
But I have to
shit.
hold my phone for some reason. It's not. I don't know. It's the phone. I have to hold it.
Oh my God. I feel like we need to do the show over. It sounds so much better.
Maybe it's the fact that I have these earpieces on when I'm on my phone. So maybe
Now,
I need to just do that.
even your color quality and everything is way better. Like,
Well, because I'm right up under the light in my room.
well, whatever. Whatever you're doing, that is the only way you are allowed to do this from now on. Because
I
we're
was having fun not holding the phone.
listen, then you're gonna have to be like me. Wait till phone company offers you a device or get you a device when you feel like buying one, and have you a little tablet like this little guy here, where I can look at this when I get tired of dealing with this computer and its bullshit.
I was
Because I'm
just on my
not
tablet.
even looking at the computer that much.
I was just on my tablet.
Well, guess what? It is what it is.
Is everyone still there?
It looks like it. It's late, so our audience is kind of lackluster.
Dwindling. Yeah.
But even though with all these damn night crawlers, I'm gonna use that because I ain't gonna call them out for what they is. All these people I know of the night that be out here creeping and moving on the late night tip. I know they asses ain't all in bed all fucking early. These motherfuckers be up all times of night carrying the fuck on. But they ain't up on here to save their relationships or to get some game because Lord knows a lot of them need it. But we gonna roll back onto this. So
Oh,
all right.
Soleil. Is she still there?
Yeah, what we gonna do, Saul, is we gonna Tracy, I know you work at night. MTA worker. Soul Envy wants to come back on, so we'll make arrangements to have that.
Yes, sis. We love it. Yes.
Also, I told them about the next show, which more likely will be the next show, but I'm going to confirm with the young lady. It's going to be a show. We have a insurance expert, and she's going to talk about the importance of the insurance and how it helps you to build generational wealth and all of that. She has all the specifics and all of that, so she will be on here, and she will talk about it. She's already said that she wanted to come on. It's just a matter of making sure and confirming the next date for that. And so, Envy, will gladly have you back up on here, raising all types of hell. Lord knows what might be said that day. So we're going to put up the ratings and warnings before we have that one back up on the show. But we pretty much talk pretty loose anyway. So that's all you missed. And I was explaining why your computer sucks.
Ah, I hate
That's
you know that.
So, Envy, I'm gonna plug you in so you can get your compounding interest, insurance accounts, and all that stuff happening. Because those are definitely things that can happen. But we will get into that. Maybe I hit you on the side. I could refer you to her because she definitely did some good work for me, and I know quite a few people she's helped out a lot and put them in a great position. Plus, we will be helping out a fellow sister to carry on her success. So we're getting something to build us generational wealth while helping the sister build hers. That is what I'm talking about. Win-win. I'm gonna sidebar for 1 second. Then Sabrina, we're gonna use this a little bit more time because now that we can hear you clearly.
Oh God.
I want you to express because I would consider you to be the resident marriage expert. You are very versatile in how you would carry a marriage, and you have been married and you've seen what it takes to fail. I
Yes.
love to talk to somebody that's failed. You know why? Because you don't learn from success. You learn from failure. Success, well, I did this and I was successful. You can go follow what they did and it won't work for you. Because you also have to understand sometimes it's about failure. You get your biggest wins out of failure. And one thing I just wanted to say is that I put up a post earlier, and that's why I'm wanting to bring this up. I didn't put it up in the group, but I put it on my page and I was talking about LeBron James. And I was like, I see people hate on LeBron. Oh, he's not as good as Jordan. Da, 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 da. Man, Jordan couldn't carry LeBron's fucking jock strap. I'm going to tell you why. Number one, LeBron hit $1 billion while he's still hooping. Number two, this man took his friends and set them up business-wise so they could create their own wealth. He didn't just go and then go sell out and give it up to the other people in other communities and put the money in their hand and he got rich and whoop-de-doo. He could have did that and he'd have been fine. But no, he stuck with his lady that he had been with for the longest. They got a beautiful family. He's helping his kids to become the best they can be. He's an upstanding citizen. He's invested in schools, all types of things. This is what you call an exemplary man. When you talk about a man of quality, there should not be a woman that says anything negative about that man. Because if they do, I know they a toxic motherfucker, and the problem is them, not the men they've been dealing with.
Right.
Because there are a lot of men that operate on his wavelength. Like me, if I had that kind of money, I would be just like him. Because the way he did it is the way you do it. He made his best friend that didn't know shit but had an aptitude for business an agent. And now he's the top agent in the NBA to mad different players, including LeBron. Other friends of his, plug them into different business situations. Now they're handling all of that. And they're making their own money. They don't need to come to LeBron and say, yo, hold me down. So, you know, I'm part of the crew. I was down with you from day one. Yeah, they ain't got to spit that because they got their own paper. They all break bread at the same table. We need to get more like that. That is a part of marriage too. Because a lot of times people think it's a one-man band, a one-man fucking show. The average cost of living is too high for most of y'all average ass incomes. And a lot of y'all need to stop fucking lying, including you fellas, because I got the fucking statistics, and all of y'all motherfuckers ain't living in the upper 2%. There's only 2% of people making over $125,000 a year. So a lot of y'all are lying and fronting. Don't front for me. Don't front for Sabrina.
Please don't.
Keep it real. You can have a household income that is over that threshold together if you work together. A lot of people struggle in the concept of together, especially us black folk. We always focused on the wrong thing. We account for 51% of Mercedes-Benz purchases. That is recent statistics. Meanwhile, we only control 2% of the wealth. And when I say control it, meaning we have control of that money. Now, we spend tons of money. We're one of the best consumers in this country. But we ain't got nothing generating shit because we don't invest properly. We don't come together. People talk about other races and how they come together and how come they come to this country and they're successful and we're not. because they will come, live 8 in a house, swallow their pride, and I sit there and say, I'm paying my own bills, my rent, my this, my that, but I'm struggling, but I'm paying it. Because you know you're struggling, even if you act like you ain't. I know the 48 laws of power. So I know the game of show you're strong when you're at your weakest. I understand that. But my whole thing is, you have to be honest. And I'm sorry, Sabrina. It's just I'm very passionate about this. And this is something that really is one of the biggest problems with us in marriage and us in the community at large. Wake up.
I'm listening to you, sir.
Eyes open.
Eyes are open.
You look like you changing nationalities on me over here.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
So my thing is, you have to get out of the me business and into the we business. Whether you be single, in a relationship, whatever, because honestly, as a community, why, when we were all broke and ain't have shit, were our successful marriage rates at 80%? But now we're like at like 25, 30% when all of us are able to make money. Why is it that we think that anybody's supposed to just be spending and everybody's not entitled to pull their own weight to some degree in a day and age where women have just as much equal right and access to wealth as men do? You want it equal when it's convenient, but then want to play traditional when it's convenient. I see women play this game a lot. Oh, well, traditionally the man does this and the man does that. Okay. Barefoot and pregnant. Don't talk that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, these are the things that you have to abide by if you want to live in that world where the man just kills himself paying for anything. He's hardly ever home. And you just sit home. And now, even better, all the money you make, you just stick in your pocket. And if you sticking money in your pocket like that, you better be the queen of motherfucking investments. Because if you ain't paying for shit, what are you going to do with your money? We have to do better. Our marriage rates need to look better. Our marriage rates are horrible. Honestly, it's almost embarrassing to be a black man in America these days. Because for all of our accomplishments, honestly, we don't have a foothold on shit. We have barely anything compared to what we should have for building this country with our bare hands. These are the thoughts that need to become more popular. I know if I was on here talking about fucking and goofing off, I'd probably have about 15, 20 motherfuckers sitting there chuckling and keying. It's all good and fun to be laughing and having a good time and joking around. But honestly, we need to get more in tune with each other as a people. And I'm going to say this on every fucking podcast. You see this app we're on? This thing costs money. It's being paid for by the social experiment. So we going to say whatever the fuck we feel like saying as many times we want to say it. And one thing I'm going to say is I'm going to say we need to work together 5 million times, because whether I'm talking about us as a people or even in a more microcosm, us as families learning how to work together. You want to have generational wealth? You have to learn to work together. If you can't do that and you looking at your bank account and your shit saying no dough, you got one person to blame, and it's the one in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Sabrina looked like she about to fall head first onto
Man, I
the.
feel like I'm about to fall head first. You know, it's way past my bedtime right now.
Listen, nobody told you your job to hold you there till the time they did. We could have did this earlier. Just saying.
Shut up.
Exactly, but gotta make money, and nobody's cutting them, and nobody's cutting their time short to come on here because I ain't heard nobody even attempt to throw any change in the donation cup. I ain't heard nobody say, "What is y'all cash at? What is y'all whatever? Let me throw some change in that bitch," because y'all will sit up on here, do research, all because there's a lot of shit that comes into doing one of these shows. Granted, the production is garbage because honestly, I'm the tech person and I just ain't had no time to dedicate to this because that's going to require time that I have to dedicate to other things I'm doing that are generating a revenue right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, you want to see an improvement in production? The change cup is jangling. All you got to do is DM me. I'll let y'all know exactly where to send whatever y'all want to send. And we will say thank you. You can also start dropping some likes because it seems like liking the videos like pulling teeth. And subscribing to the fucking YouTube channel for the love of God. Because y'all act like that shit is fucking hard. I don't understand. Y'all sent me invites to 40 of your goddamn events. I spent money on many of y'all stuff. I can't get a fucking like and a subscribe out of you. Like I said.
But I tried to hold it in. The way
Like
you said that.
We got to do better. We can't even get likes and subscribes, which are totally free, in support of each other. But you want to be married? Good luck. And Godspeed. Because you're going to need both in order to have anything successful or long-termly sustaining. I see marriage rates dropping to about 20% in the next 5 years. People are going to render it obsolete. And the reason why it's going to happen is because as wealth becomes more, because marriage was initially something that was brought to unite wealth in order to make wealth bigger and stronger. Now that's gone. The reason why I'm talking so much on this is because there's not going to be a part 3 to this. Well, there might be, but I don't know if we need
to. We can revisit the marriage mindset like in a few. Let's do some more research and we'll talk about this off here. We'll talk about it some more off here.
I got 15 pages of research in my brain already, but you could do whatever research you need to do. I figured you'd have more than me because you actually walked that path. Me, I've had enough experience from everybody else to know to keep dodging it until I hit the right situation in which I end up married, which when you see me married, you'll know that I made the right choice because I thought it out very carefully before I did it.
Well, I can talk a little bit more about myself, not right now, but at another time. As far as the things that I've learned and I've studied, all of that about marriage. What?
I said, now that we can hear you clearly, you get sleepy.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
We're going to call this episode 2.5. Or 1.5. Because it should have been episode 2 of this. But I'm sure I heard you for most of what you said. But there are things that didn't come through as clearly as now. Because now you can hear you way better.
Okay, sorry.
It's all right. You was trying to. You was trying a thing, it ain't work out. That's all.
Yeah.
But moving forward, we'll have it like this. If you're going to use the computer, you're going to need a microphone.
I might just need to connect my Bluetooth to it and see if that's gonna work. No? No?
You're going to need a microphone. Trust me.
Okay.
I'm looking into one myself. That's why I told you. I'm telling you that. Because I want to start operating. I want to start using OBS and doing some other stuff. You know, upgrade our tech a little bit, make this thing look a little bit better and streamlined and stuff like that. Put a little something in the background. This little boring background we got look like it's worth 2 pennies. You know what I'm saying?
But
And
that's you got that color is fire. Look at mine. This is the color of my whole apartment.
oh no, I'm not. Yeah, that. But that has nothing to do with the actual like background and all that stuff. There's a lot that needs to be done. But anyway.
Oh, it's almost 12 o'clock.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen that have tuned in. I see y'all. And yes, I can actually see who's tuned in because of my trusty tablet shows me every name that's actually popped in and popped out. And if you popped in and popped out, just know I seen you. So we appreciate y'all for indulging our Burning the Midnight Oil podcast. I have a movie I need to watch because one of my friends recommended it. I'm gonna check it out. It's called Uncle Tom on Netflix. I heard it's a really good movie.
Okay.
So I'm gonna check that out.
Are we gonna get on off the thing now?
You're gonna be working on your sleep, nigga.
I'm about to go to bed. Like, seriously.
Well, the bed is there for you. Just ladies and gentlemen, remember, the marriage mindset starts from the moment you establish a relationship with each other. That is
No,
where
it starts before that.
To me, everything else is just whatever, because you can go on date, hang out, have the sex, and all that stuff is cool. But once you establish yourselves as wanting to build and grow together, meaning you decide to be in an actual official relationship, that's when you really need to start developing your marriage mindset from the beginning and slowly work it, because it's a process. But we'll get into all of that on the possible part 2.5.
It's gonna be a part 3, y'all.
Because
it'll be a part 3.
Or 2.5, because whatever.
You know what?
But anyway,
They gotta fight me. Let's say this. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate y'all.
Y'all have a good one. Subscribe to our YouTube.
What you said?
Bye. I said subscribe to the YouTube.
Yeah, like, share, and subscribe.
Good night, y'all.
Share, fucking subscribe, or I'm gonna come to your house and press the buttons for you.
You ain't gonna do that. Bye, y'all.
All right, later.